This is interesting because we just read from The Order of the Phoenix in the Harry Potter series, and one of the other Harry Potter stories has Harry unable to conjure a Patronus, right? The animal spirit that can destroy the effects of a Dementor, which is sucking the life and hope and everything out of you. He can't do it because the fuel to a Patronus charm, the fuel that creates and generates one's Patronus through the wand, is joy. And orphan Harry, attacked by the evil Voldemort, has so little joy, raised by the Dursleys under the stairs, has so little experiences of joy in his life, he has no power to conjure it. Hey, it's Tiger Todd with Hero School. Great to be back with you as we read another one of the 24 influential books to me personally and professionally, as well as Hero School. And today's book is interesting, different. Okay, they all have been, right? Transactional Analysis with Rhonda Byrne. We've had the Joseph Campbell Companion, right? Where he spoke of his last guru, Heinrich Zimmer, who said the best things can't be told. That words just aren't enough to convey the complexity of the human and the human experience. So he says the second best things are misunderstood, and the third best things are what we have to work with. But metaphors, mythology, there is a way to deliver the complexity in a specially designed container or series of words that help us understand through a character like Superman. Yeah, an alien from another country, but he is literally raised by a human dad who teaches the characteristics, something to temper all of that power. So when I first read this book, The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, the use of metaphors was just great joy to me. Now we're going to read a chapter here where we touch on some ancient metaphors, and we'll read these folks' viewpoints that perhaps will help ignite, restore a little faith. Yeah, sometimes these things sound kooky, and yet what do they sound kooky to? You must have already learned something that said they were kooky, but if it's the only thing you knew, imagine if you were born in like 600 BC and you were part of a Greek family. The Iliad and the Odyssey were your psychology, right? These were the stories that were handed down and repeated over and over again, right? And so we must take a look at what have we learned that makes something sound weird, and maybe that is prejudicing our ability to glean the power from it. Well, we're going to open this chapter here of The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, and let's see, we'll put on our Dumbledores. I used to call them Ben Franklin's, but the Harry Potter did this to me. Let's see, where are we? This chapter, How to Use the Secret. Ready? You are a creator, and there is an easy process to create using the law of attraction. The greatest teachers and avatars have shared the creative process through their wondrous work in myriad forms. Some great teachers created stories to demonstrate how the universe works. The wisdom contained in their stories has been handed down through centuries and has become legendary. Many people living today do not realize that the essence of these stories is the very truth of life. If you think about Aladdin and his lamp, says James Ray, Aladdin picks up the lamp, dusts it off, and out pops the genie. The genie always says one thing: your wish is my command. The story now goes that there are 3 wishes. But if you trace the story back to the origins, there's absolutely no limit whatsoever to the wishes. Think about that one. Now, let's take this metaphor and apply it to your life. Remember, Aladdin is the one who always asks for what he wants. Then you've got the universe at large, which is the genie. Traditions have called it so many things: your holy guardian angel, your higher self. We can put any label on it, and you choose the one that works best for you. But every tradition has told us there's something bigger than us. And the genie always says one thing: your wish is my command. This wonderful story demonstrates how your whole life and everything in it has been created by you. The genie has simply answered your every command. The genie is the law of attraction, and it is always present and always listening to everything you think, speak, and act. The genie assumes that everything you think about, you want. That everything you speak about, you want. That everything you act upon is what you want. You are the master of the universe. By the power of Grayskull. No, that's He-Man. Okay. You are the master of the universe, and the genie is there to serve you. The genie never questions your commands. You think it, the genie immediately begins to leverage the universe through people, circumstances, and events, and fulfills your wish. The creative process. The creative process used in The Secret, which was taken from the New Testament and the Bible, is an easy guideline for you to create what you want in 3 simple steps. Step 1, ask. This section read by Lisa Nichols. The first step is to ask. Make a command to the universe. Let the universe know what you want. The universe responds to your thoughts. And Bob Proctor says, what do you really want? Sit down and write it out on a piece of paper. Write it in the present tense. You might begin by writing, quote, I am so happy and grateful now that, ... And then explain how you want your life to be in every area. Isn't it interesting that so many people, it's so easy to do in today's society for us to speak what we have and not speak whatsoever thing we desire, right? Which is the lesson from the New Testament in Mark chapter 11. I mean, think about how silly that is. I'm in Las Vegas right now. It's the middle of the night because tomorrow it's going to be 100, 105. And imagine if I just said, it's 105. I'm going to sweat. And that's what we used to do, right? At the time the Greek mythology was written, or we found a place in the shade. But today we can go to the thermostat. And I believe that this message being conveyed here of whatsoever thing you desire, that's what you say, is the same as going to the thermostat and setting it where you want. Is that a Nest? Right? Right? Or an old-fashioned one, or a slider, or however you set the thermostat. Don't just set it where you want, the temperature you want. What if we got more serious? Now, many of you probably do this, but what if we took this advice, this one little paragraph from Bob Proctor? I'm going to read it again. What do you really want? Sit down and write it out on a piece of paper. Write it in the present tense. You might begin by writing, I'm so happy and grateful now that, and put in what it is you want. And then explain how you want your life to be in every area. Let's continue. You get to choose what you want, but you must get clear about what you want. This is your work. If you're not clear, then the law of attraction cannot bring you what you want. And there's great irony in this when you're in business, right? Because if you hire an expert in sales or marketing, aren't they going to ask that the first thing you do is get some clarity? Right? Get some clarity. Well, I want this, or this is what we provide. And they're going to tell you, get clarity, get clarity. We do this in our business, and yet often we're careless about it when it comes to our believing we're in control of ourselves. Again, these metaphors were actually very inspiring to me to remind me of things that I'd read before, that I believe, that I've tried, that I've neglected. Anyway, we'll get back to it. This is your work. If you're not clear, then the law of attraction cannot bring you what you want. You will be sending out a mixed frequency, and you can only attract mixed results. For the first time in your life, perhaps, work out what it is you really want. Now that you know you can have, be, or do anything, and there are no limits, what do you want? Asking is the first step in the creative process, so make it a habit to ask. If you have to make a choice and you don't know which way to go, ask. You should never be stumped on anything in your life. Just ask. Now, one of the other things I do appreciate about this that probably was lost in other people's commentaries about this book was that it requires personal accountability, right? And maybe that's why people are afraid of certain philosophies that also require us to be responsible for our actions. And I'm saying if you're going to try a philosophy, I do this in my new online courses, we've done it through Hero School, right? It's law 2, right? You have to take responsibility, right? You have to take the blame even for things you didn't do. So this is the only way to regain control. As long as we continue to blame someone else or put that person in charge of our life, destiny, and future, we're never in charge, right? And that sucks, right? The dog ate my homework just doesn't fly when you're responsible for your life. All right, let's get back to it. So Dr. Joe Vitale says, this is really fun. It's like having the universe as your catalog. You flip through it and say, I'd like to have this experience, and I'd like to have that product, and I'd like to have a person like that. It is you placing your order with the universe. It's really that easy. No, it's not catalog shopping, but it is setting up the sequence of events. And if these words mean anything, if you can speak the words to another person and change the future of that relationship, why can't you speak words to the other things in this universe and change their destination too? And that is the argument of this book and this section. We'll continue. You do not have to ask over and over again. Just ask once. It is exactly like placing an order. You only ever order something once. You don't place an order and then doubt the order has been received and so place the order again and then again and then again. You order once. It is the same with the creative process. Step 1 is simply your step to get clear about what you want. As you can get clear in your mind, you have to ask. Step 2 is believe. Lisa Nichols says, step 2 is believe. Believe that it's already yours. Have what I love to call unwavering faith, believing in the unseen. You must believe that you have already received. You must know that what you want is yours the moment you ask. You must have complete and utter faith. If you had placed an order from a catalog, you'd relax, right? Amazon. Knowing that you're going to receive what you ordered, and you'd get on with your life. And here's this quote from Robert Collier. See the things that you want as already yours. Know that they will come to you at need. Then let them come. Don't fret and worry about them. Don't think about your lack of them. Think of them as yours, as belonging to you, as already in your possession. That was written in the early 1900s, 1920. In the moment you ask and believe and know you already have it in the unseen, the entire universe shifts to bring it to pass in the scene. You must act, speak, and think as though you are receiving it now. Why? The universe is a mirror, and the law of attraction is mirroring back to you your dominant thoughts. So doesn't it make sense that you should have to see yourself as receiving it? This is interesting because we just read from The Order of the Phoenix in the Harry Potter series, and one of the other Harry Potter stories has Harry unable to conjure a Patronus, right? The animal spirit that can destroy the effects of a Dementor, which is sucking the life and hope and everything out of you. He can't do it because the fuel to a Patronus charm, the fuel that creates and generates one's Patronus through the wand, is joy. And orphan Harry, attacked by the evil Voldemort, has so little raised by the Dursleys under the stairs, has so little experiences of joy in his life, he has no power to conjure it, right? But by the lake, in that scene, if you've seen it, spoiler alert, it was out years ago, he sees himself do it. And by seeing himself already do it, he is able then to conjure the power himself the next time the crisis comes up. Are you understanding this? Believe you receive? So now, obviously, this is an ancient New Testament Bible tool in faith. And yet, we use it every day with a thermostat. We tend to also do it when we believe more in, the power of sickness than the power of healing. Come on, when you get a cut on your finger like I did washing the dishes tonight, right? You know that healing is always on the way to come, right? Healing always comes, right? I don't have to go to a doctor. Healing always comes. We can accelerate that healing, but we have such faith because we already have a track record. But the first time we cut ourselves, we probably looked up at mom or dad and we cried, oh my God, what's going to happen? Can you imagine a universe, a world that we live in where healing isn't automatic, right? Healing isn't always just trying to repair what's been broken. So anyway, this a whole lot of monologue, if you will, through this chapter of the book, but I see this especially during this time, during this sheltering in place pandemic time where people have whether faith has been challenged, that perhaps this is one of the books for us. So let's go back to this section. In the moment you ask and believe and know you already have it in the unseen, the entire universe shifts to bring it into the seen. You must act, speak, and think as though you are receiving it now. Why? The universe is a mirror, and the law of attraction is mirroring back to you your dominant thoughts. So, doesn't it make sense that you have to see yourself as receiving it? If your thoughts contain noticing you don't have it yet, you will continue to attract not having it yet. You must believe that you already have it. You must believe you have received it. You have to emit the feeling frequency of having received it to bring those pictures back as your life. When you do that, the law of attraction will powerfully move all circumstances, people, and events for you to receive. When you book a vacation, order a brand new car, or buy a house, you know those things are yours. You wouldn't go and book another vacation for the same time or purchase another car or house. If you won a lottery or received a large inheritance, even before you physically had the money, you know it's yours. That is the feeling of believing it is yours. That is the feeling of believing you have it already. That is the feeling of believing you have received. Claim the things you want by feeling and believing they're yours. When you do that, the law of attraction will powerfully move all circumstances, people, and events for you to receive. I'm going to put this one last quote by Jack Canfield. Most of us have never allowed ourselves to want what we truly want because we can't see how it's going to manifest. So I hope this was a fun, wild ride in terms of the 24 influential books to me, professionally and personally. And again, why? Because of the metaphors, right? It showed us this genie, right? What do you want? Your wish is my command. This idea that the universe answers us. And we'll get that in our next book from Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. But the idea is, what do you want? That's the stuff to speak, to believe. And when you speak it, believe you receive it when you speak it. Or as the New Testament said, when you pray. So, it's Tiger Todd for Hero School and Heroes Inc. doing these sheltering in place. Read some of the books. Hope you're enjoying them. And we believe in heroes, and we believe in you.